Welcome to In the Moment with Courtier Kuzan, where we inform, inspire, and motivate you to be a positive agent of change. On this halfway there Wednesday, I want to just say good morning to everyone out in central Louisiana and the surrounding areas. Natchitoches, Gina, Alexandria, 88.1 FM. Monroe, West Monroe on 98.9 FM. Shreveport, Greenwood on 92.5 FM. St. Joseph, Natchitoches on 99.3 FM, and Lake Charles on 100.1 FM. And family, you know the numbers. Call in with your questions or comments at the radio station. Local number 318-484-2500. Toll free at 877-464-2500. And you can follow us all through social media at In the Moment with Courtier Kuzan, and go to our website and get that free gift download at InTheMomentWithCourtierKuzan.com. That's In the Moment, KORTIACOUSIN.com. And it's halfway there Wednesday, and I tell you, a lot of people would call it hump day, but I'm just motivated, invigorated, and I look forward to seeing what God does each and every day. And saying that, we're like halfway there, okay? And what does it feel like? Do you feel like in this whole scenario, this whole process that you're in, do you feel like, I just feel like I'm halfway there? I feel like I need something just to push and, just get me over the hump. It just seems like I'm stuck right now, right where I'm at. What's going to be that little something extra that's going to get me to where I want to go? Well, I've actually sat back and, had my conversations with God in this realm. Like, God, I just feel like, things aren't progressing in my life. Just like I'm not able to, let's just be real with it, see exactly where I'm going. And I know Scripture says that a man without a vision will perish, and it's tied into so many areas of your life as far as like how a vision comes to play. But as far as like when you have vision needs to come from somewhere in the beginning. So what am I talking about? I'm talking about your dreams, okay? Your dreams that you have. Did you ever think that you may not be progressing or going further in life because, for your vision to actually show you where you need to go, you actually need to actually have that dream on the inside. And some of you may have dreams, but your dreams may have actually gone to the realm of, committing suicide, if you'd actually want to say that. So, that's what we're going to touch on today, the suicide of a dream, okay? A lot of us, we've had dreams, and, our dreams haven't been shown any kind of love. We haven't fellowshipped with our dreams. I know this sounds kind of funny to you, but what I mean by fellowshipping with dreams, how many of you right now that are listening to me, you've had a dream to do something in your life? And, just like, you used to think about the things, your dream used to motivate you. Your dream used to make you smile. You used to be like, wow, I just can't wait for the day. Wow, when this happens. Wow, I really see this really taking root in my life. Wow, I see how I'm doing this is going to be an impact, and touch so many different lives. But because of situations, because of circumstances, because of time, because of what people have said, because of what you've told yourself, blah, 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 yakety, yakety, smack, smack, smackety, you've given up on that dream. To where literally it's like your dream has gotten to the top of a skyscraper and just decided to just jump off, okay? Because you didn't show that dream any kind of love. And there are different ways that a dream can actually die. And, if you actually in the point to like take some notes, you're really going to want to do that as far as like on today. But, I'm going to just touch on some key topics, and then I'm going to go more in depth on these topics. But, certain ways that a dream can actually die is because, like I said, lack of motivation. Just on, yesterday, for instance, like I said, family, my wife and I, my oldest daughter, we were going to the gym. And, in the beginning, I'm just going to be real with you. My motivation was not there. Okay, it really wasn't. I was like, okay, I'm just going to go give me a quick 30 minutes of cardio, and then, I'm done. But, my daughter, she wanted to get in there, and she wanted to be motivated. She wanted to start working out with my wife and I, and she wanted to just do arms and everything else that we were doing. And, I was able to draw off of her enthusiasm, her motivation, and, it got me hyped up all over again. And, we were able to go in there and work out and then go back and do like the 30 minutes of cardio afterwards. But it's something to where motivation just doesn't have to come strictly from you. It can actually come from someone else to actually help you and push you forward. And then, of course, something else that can make a dream die is a lack of support. I mean, we do feel like we're just stuck out there all by ourselves at times because, why is it that so many of us, the way if God gives us this dream, something that's just stirring on the inside, why is it that we get in our minds that, okay, if God's actually giving it to us, then everyone else is going to want to partake in it? I'm going to let you know, that's not real world. That's not spiritual world. That's not anything. People are not going to be able to relate to what God has given you exclusively because why? He gave it to you exclusively. Now, down the road, people may want to jump on and help support you, but that's generally not the case in the immediate, okay? And then why do we not go forward with our dreams? I'm going to let you know. A lot of times when you pursue your dreams, it's going to cause you some embarrassment. It really, really will, because you're really going to have to do things that are not in the realm of what you're used to, okay? It's not going to fit into what your quote-unquote normal life is. I mean, but that's the really great thing about it is that when you're doing things with your dreams, when you're walking in a pathway that God has called you to, it's not just going to get you out of your comfort zone. It's going to eventually just totally destroy what you would call your comfort zone. And that's a really great thing because it's actually going to allow you to tap into what's really down on the inside of you. And then, wow, for so many of us out there right now, there's so many people out there with this entitlement mentality, okay, that people think, it just should come to me, whether it's because of your gender, whether it's because of your age, whether it's because of, your color of your skin, whatever it may be, okay. So many people have this entitlement mentality, meaning they have a negative mental perspective, just like I don't really have to do anything, I should just have it, like for whatever reason it should just come to me. But a lot of people have a negative mental perspective and just saying, well, such and such, if I try this, it's not going to happen because what's the old mental state when I was growing up? Someone's always going to be there to, quote unquote, hold you down. I'm not going to go further because of the color of my skin. I'm not going to go further because maybe I'm, quote, how they say, too fat, too skinny, too old, cannot speak, so eloquently, whatever it may be, whatever that negative mental perspective is that's holding you back. And then, of course, yes, some people don't go forward with their dreams because opposition. If anyone ever told you that with anything that you're going to do in life, it's just going to happen and it's just going to just flow without opposition, get away from those people because they are full-fledged liars. And I'm saying it right here on the air because if anybody tells you it's going to be dreams and clovers and it's never going to have any kind of opposition in your life, look, I'm telling you, they're living in a fantasy world right now. And then, of course, neglect. Just like I said before, we can neglect our dreams and cause them to actually die. I mean, think about this. You can say you've got the biggest dream in the world. You can say that God has given you the dream. But then if you don't take steps to actually, birth this dream, keep life going to this dream, nourish this dream, it's a form of neglect. And then you start doubting your dream, okay? Why do we doubt our dreams? I think we tend to doubt our dreams just because it doesn't fit in the realm of things that we've ever thought about. I mean, I see so many kids out there nowadays, and they're talking about mommy, daddy, and I see them more times in the store, and they're saying, hey, I want to do this in life. And then, instead of a parent saying, hey, I see you actually being able to do that. I know God will open a way for you to do that, but more times than not, I actually hear parents telling their kids, and some of you can actually relate to this in your own lives, saying, boy, girl, you just need to get real. Nothing like that's ever happened to us, so why do you think it's going to happen to you? I hear that all the time. And then, of course, a dream can die because of just yourself in general. It's just that you see everyone else being able to do something in the realm of what God has given you for your dream, but you don't see it happening in yourself. And I would actually say this has to be one of the biggest, if not the biggest things when it comes to dreams. Procrastination. You think that you're being productive, but you're just being busy, doing things to make the time pass, but not doing anything to really bring life, I said, to your dream. And then, hey, fear. Fear is like the underlying thing for all things that actually stop you. And it's really evident, it's really prevalent right now of how we just brought the key points out that actually show people how the suicide of a dream. But when we actually come back from break, I'm going to go into more detailed on some of these points. I'm not going to be able to go in through all of them, but they're definitely going to be a two-parter to this. But the suicide of a dream, and definitely God's going to show you in the midst of all of this, how he was already right there with you in your moment and how he's going to actually increase your moment so you can have greater influence so your dream will come to pass. Welcome back to In the Moment with Cortia Kuzan. Family, you can call in with your questions or comments at our local number, 318-484-2500, or toll free at 877-464-2500. And on this Halfway There Wednesday, the subject matter that we're discussing on today, the suicide of a dream. And we went over some really good points at how can a dream actually die. And, I want to just go more in depth in that. And like I said, this is going to be a two-parter because there's no way I'm going to be able to get through all of this subject matter on today. But look, definitely, we have to revisit why it seems like we're struggling, in going forward and not being able to go, take that extra step to bring our visions to pass, because why? We may have not actually given life or been nourishing or doing what's necessary in the dream that God gave us so long ago. Because the thing is that a lot of people don't realize, and this is what happened with me, okay? When the Lord actually speaks to you, all right, he speaks to you on your internal spirit self, but he gives you a picture through your imagination, okay? And then that imagination when you start to dwell on that imagination, then your imagination transforms into a dream, all right? And then when you start to nourish your dream and start to do things according to what's in your dream, then that dream, it manifests more so into your vision. But a lot of us, when we go getting in our imagination, we get to the dream, then what? We don't actually start to do what's necessary. Just like if you have a child, okay? We don't give it the nutrition, the nurturance, so we don't give it the love. We don't do what's necessary so that that dream has life. And then when that dream starts to take shape and have life, then what? It grows up and starts to mature into the vision, that seed that God had planted on the inside of us, all right? So as we start, like lack of motivation, I mean, really, if you don't put forth pretty much any kind of effort to, build your dream or take any kind of steps, I mean, your dream will actually die. I mean, really. It amazes me that when I speak to people, everywhere, whether, you're in the body of Christ, whether you're not in the body of Christ, and I've had some people share some dreams with me, and I mean, they've shared some dreams with me, and they've had my mouth to just drop wide open. And I mean, it's a pretty interesting thing if you can actually do that with me. And then I'm like, awesome. And I start asking, well, tell me what you've done. Tell me the steps. How far are you in the process? I'm asking all these questions because, look, they've hyped me up. I'm excited. I want to hear what they're doing. And then they'll say, well, you know what, that's the dream I have, but I really haven't done anything. And then as soon as they say something like that, the look of sadness that I have on my face, and, I'm listening to what they're saying, and in my spirit and how God's blessed me, if you actually tell me something, one of these unique gifts that God's given me, if you share something with me as far as like your dream or your business or something with your family, God usually gives me like a detailed plan or a detailed outline to actually help someone to progress forward, just like this. That's why I actually say call in with your questions or your comments, because some of you right now may be looking for that extra little, I don't know what it is, that next word or step to actually get you over the hump. But right now, fear may actually be holding you back, and you may not realize that he may actually speak through me or someone that you are really close to actually give you that word or the information that you need to get to where he's actually taking you. But you actually have to, take that step to go forward, get that motivation to go forward, build up and do things to actually make sure that your dream does not die. Okay? A lot of times, I like that expression that one of the things my grandfather actually told me, God may have told you that he's going to allow you to have certain type of finances for your family, just break this generational curse as far as like poverty. But, the old expression is a closed mouth doesn't get fed. So if you don't say anything, if you don't ask for assistance, then guess what? You're going to stay in the same state that you're in. But, a lot of reasons that people lack motivation is that, you actually need to do something. And a lot of people really don't think in this day and age that even though the Lord will give you a dream, okay, even though he'll speak to you through your imagination and then that births a dream, that a lot of people just think, hey, God, go ahead and take care of it. I used to be that way. A lot of us used to be that way, that if God just said something and he put it on the inside of us, we rationalize it this way. Okay, if God gave it to me, then that means God's going to take care of it. I don't have to worry about it. God's got it. Like, we don't have to do anything. But in Scripture, it talks about faith without works is dead. Okay. And a lot of people will say, well, we don't have to go ahead and do things because, we're under grace and all of these different. Well, it also lets us know that we believe in God because by the trying of our faith, meaning that, hey, if we believe what was said or spoken into our lives, then we're going to take the necessary steps to go and get what God has in store for us. Hey, each and every one of us has an opportunity to go ahead and receive blessing. We're not all going to receive the same blessing. Why? Because not everyone's going to latch on to what God has told us, but it's that lack of motivation. All right? I mean, and even if it doesn't actually benefit you, directly, okay, what's actually your purpose for beginning in the first place? What's actually the purpose? What's actually motivating you to actually start? What's the great impact that's in front of you? How are you going to be that positive agent of change to actually situate yourself to be a key piece on, the chessboard of what we call life, okay? And with a lot of people, and I play chess with my son. Yes, I do play chess. My son's 11 years of age. And see, I told my son, he looks at how he can take a piece immediately, taking a bishop, taking a rook, taking this one, and he gets excited with that. And he's playing with daddy, and it looks like he's taking all of my pieces, okay? But he doesn't pay attention to how I move my pawns and how I just leave my king sitting in one place, but I move my queen, which goes all over the board. I'm moving my queen, and then I'm taking different pieces that he has. But then all of a sudden, the most inopportune thing that he sees is that, as he moves his pieces and he thinks he's taking my pieces, but I'm actually drawing him in. I'm actually systematically drawing him in. See, this is a tidbit for somebody. This is a moment piece for somebody. And how Satan thinks he's trying to just draw you, take everything that he has, but you're literally systematically working God's plan, and you're actually allowing him to think that he's defeating you. But then all of a sudden, you take the most overlooked piece on your chessboard of life, which is the pawn, and you move it into a place to where he thinks, I got him. And then all of a sudden, he thinks he has you just circled in, encamped in, where he's going to destroy you. And you move the one key piece on your board, which is the queen, and you just go ahead and you take his king. He thinks he's overpowering you, but the entire time you've been working God's plan. You've been doing what God has called you to do. You're going in with motivation. You're working the dream. You're doing what's necessary to give it life. And then all of a sudden, you go right behind and take everything in his camp to make sure that your dream comes to life. I mean, that's just powerful. And that's God just gave me that quick revelation. We need to treat everything like a chess game, okay, to where we're systematically doing things step by step by step to line up things in our life to bring about what he's given us. And I know right now in this instantaneous microwave, gotta have it right now society, and my wife was just like, right now. And so many of us, we go through life and we think it needs to be right now. And I thank God that on yesterday, and I'm not going to go ahead and call out, but I had a brother on yesterday, brother that that God is using to groom me in a way, and God is actually using me to groom him in a way. But he actually just let me know that I wanted to make sure that you stay motivated, and you know who you are. Actually wanted me to stay motivated because he said, I don't want you to lose motivation, but the things that's actually going on as far as like in your life, man, you're doing things. I mean, you're doing things that I haven't really done. I'm putting it in my own words now. But it was just like that little tidbit I needed right there. Didn't realize I needed it, but it was a tidbit that I needed, because no matter how far in the process that you get, okay, you're definitely going to need someone to actually help you in your level of motivation. And some of us can do just like David, but this isn't every day. And how, the Bible lets us know that David had to encourage himself, okay? Sometimes you're not able to encourage yourself, all right? Sometimes you go through things and, man, you feel like, you're coming out of a Rocky movie. You're bruised and you're battered and everything. And, you don't have anybody in front of you where you can just call out, Adrian! You just can't call out to Adrian. And sometimes you don't feel like you can call out to the Lord. But when you get to that state, God can actually have someone in your path that knows right where you are at that moment, in your moment, to actually help you through the process that you're in. But look, don't let your motivation drop, all right? When you actually get to that point, take a step back. God, show me what I'm doing. God may have someone coming into your path. God may give you a scripture, or God may just let you know, just like I said, my daughter, my son, I'll never leave you or forsake you. And right then, right there, in that time, he's going to say, right here, in this season, I'm still with you, definitely, in your moment. And when we come back, don't leave that moment, because you're going to have greater increase coming in your moment. Welcome back to In the Moment with Courtier Kuzan on this Halfway There Wednesday. And we're talking about the suicide of a dream. Family, call in with your questions or comments at the local number 318-484-2500 or toll free 877-464-2500. And we were talking about lack of motivation prior to the break. And what really comes to mind about this entire lack of motivation, what just, came out to me, is that a lot of us have a lack of motivation just because things in our life just seem to be, overwhelming us. And, a lot of times when we get into a state of feeling overwhelmed, and look, some of you may not want to hear this, but we actually do it to ourselves, okay? We take on more than we need to. What do I mean by that? Okay, you've got things that are going on in your home. Okay, that's evidence you need to take care of these things. And, there are some people out there, and I'm not telling you not to do this, but, some people always talk about not having time. I know if you have, children, you don't have to actually sign your child up for every sporting class or every this and every that, okay? One of the things that I actually found out that, someone that's very well-to-do, and I'm just say a millionaire, okay, actually told me that the greatest thing that you'll need to actually value in your life, okay, one of the greatest things is going to be your time. Why? Because a lot of you probably don't realize is that out of everything that you can actually gain, or actually everything that you can possibly lose, all right, time is the only thing that you can never get back, okay? And time, actually utilizing your time to the fullest, is actually going to help you when it comes to helping you in that area of feeling overwhelmed. What I mean by this, I spoke to a young lady on yesterday, and, she was talking about a thing that she wanted to do in life, and I was like, okay. I said, well, realizing what you want to do and how you want to stretch out, one of the main things that you're going to have to do is utilize your time. And she was like, okay. And she asked me a question, and I'm not remembering that whole part of the conversation. But the thing was, I said, do you actually realize why some people out there are actually rich, wealthy, or, a lot of people have their, different standpoints on what wealth is. I say it's because they've learned or they've been taught how to utilize their time. I said, you don't see people that are making very high six-figure incomes or multimillionaires out there washing their cars, cutting the grass, possibly, cleaning their house. They actually pay people to do these things. And you might say, well, that's good for them. I'm not able to do that. Well, see, what you don't realize is they actually saw that once they got to a point as they started giving life and working the dream and going along the plan and purpose that God has actually given them, they found out that their time was valuable because time was the thing that they needed to actually work on their dream. So if I can sow an increase in someone else's life and, plant a seed into them, helping them to grow their own business as far as their landscaping business by having them take care of my grounds, or having someone to come clean my house, or having someone with their detailing business to come and do my cars. What does that do for me? It actually opens up more time for me to work on the dream that God has actually given me. And when my dream begins to increase because I have more time, then what? The vision starts to become a whole lot more clear. But the thing is that a lot of people have so many things that we quote unquote, I've got to get it done. I've got to get it done. And we think that we've got to get it done. We have to get it done. And I know that wasn't proper English in the beginning, but I got to get it, okay? I got to get it. Got to get it done. But a lot of times we got to get things done, okay, that really don't have to be done. It's just that our mental state says I've got to get this done just because we've got all of these things over us. Even on your places of employment, when I was in the corporate world and my supervisor came to me and said, Court, I need these things to be taken care of, okay? What I did when he told me he needed these things to be taken care of, and a lot of us don't do this. Some of you may not do this. I was actually making a list, writing things down, okay, because I like to have it in black and white in front of me. And immediately I said, okay, we need to get these things done. And I would ask him, what's the most important things we need to get done today? Now, He would say, well, really all of them. I'm like, I understand that, but what needs to be done today to make the impact on today, to actually get everything done for when the overall regional supervisor comes in? What needs to be done today, the things that he's going to be looking for? And a lot of us, we don't ask the specific questions or do the specific things that are actually going to make an impact in life. We generalize and just say every single thing has to be done today. And then when you're looking at what you're doing, and you're not accomplishing the things that you think need to be done, then you're going to start feeling overwhelmed. You're going to start feeling the pressure. You're going to start feeling the anxiety. And then instead of taking time to work on your dream, you're going to be like, okay, dream, you're just going to have to get pushed to the side. And when I get to you, I'm going to get to you. And that amazes me because, now that I can see it, I used to do that every single day. Working 10, 12 hours for someone else, coming home, being fully exhausted. And then all of a sudden when I saw that, okay, let's try to start working on a dream, body's like, oh no, we've got to get rest, got to get sleep. And then, it went from 1 day to 1 week to 2 weeks to 1 month. And before you turn around, it's been a whole year that's passed. Don't allow this 2019 to be another just shoulda, coulda, woulda moment for you, okay? What's actually going to be the catalyst that's actually going to help get you to jump in your dream? But really, you have to get into that point of, look, it's about prioritizing the things in your day, all right? So what do I mean by prioritizing? And you might say, wow, he's still on motivation. Yeah, motivation is very much a broad topic in itself, but prioritizing is this. And a lot of us, we have issues with this. Sometimes to get out of our comfort zone, you may actually have to, and here's that hard thing, this is a part of that work thing, you may actually have to do a to-do list. Write down some points that you need to accomplish in a day. But you will not, okay? You will not delete working on your dream, okay? If you've ever, what is that, Franklin Covey planner. One of the things that I was trained up on early in my career is that you actually, when you wrote down the things that you want to accomplish in today, you went by each one of these points in matter of importance. And the things that were really, really important that needed to be done today, you put an A by it, okay? Things that were next important, you put a B by it, so on and so forth, all right? But then after that, you definitely had to get the things that had the A mark by it, and those things had to be accomplished. And I'm going to let you know, working on your dream, you need to have an A by it, okay? I don't care what else you have on that list, you have got to work on your dream every day. And look, family, I'm not saying that you're going to have, an hour a day each and every day. If you have nothing more than just 10 minutes, work on it. Look, you may have to situate scheduling a portion of your lunch break to work on your dream. Do that. You may have to actually come home to your family, okay? Really, I'm being real with you. Come home to your family, get with your wife, get with your kids, however you want to do it, and let them know that between, 9 and 10 o'clock, if you have that time, okay? Sometimes you have to be, really purposeful to actually make that time, but from just say 9 to 10 o'clock, schedule that time that you're actually going to work on your dream. And working on your dream may mean you can actually, go through a coaching program, maybe read a book, maybe write your own book, whatever it may be, possibly starting a file for your LLC, whatever it is that God is calling you to do, take that time, okay, and work on your dream. You have to just realize that, look, things have to go step by step, but you've got to prioritize. Like I said before, you can't eat the whole elephant, all right? That's crazy. That's crazy to think that if, everything that you want to get accomplished is the equivalent of an elephant, that you'll actually be able to eat that. But, you have to approach all of these things that may come up in front of you like opposition as far as hey, I can go ahead and instead of letting it overwhelm me, I can go ahead and take control, all right? And, one of the greatest things that I love as far as if you look in the Bible, all right, there are two animals that in the Bible that God has identified with. And I'm going to touch just on one. One is the eagle, okay? The other is the lion. And, it really came out to me, and I heard this, and it stuck out to me, and it just, wow, it went to the core of my being when I heard him break this down. Okay, I got this, and if any of you haven't known, I actually invite you to do some research and look up, brother Miles Monroe. He's going on to be with the Lord, he and his wife, but I tell you, he actually broke this thing down, and I mean, it just rocked me when I heard it. And he basically said, a lion is not the smartest, he's not the fastest, he's not the most powerful, and he's not even the most good looking when it comes to animals. But you know something? A lion is motivated because an elephant can be stronger than the lion. A gazelle can be faster than the lion. But then an elephant can see a lion and, under his foot, he can actually crush that lion with his foot. One step, bam, the lion is dead. But see, the thing that's interesting, this was what so many of our mindsets are. So many of us are like that elephant. When it comes up to opposition or comes up to the enemy that's in front of us, so many of us right now can see, like we're that elephant and see that lion and we say, oh my Lord, there's that lion. I'm lunch. Not that I can actually do anything, but we see ourselves as lunch. But with the lion will see that elephant and say, wow, that's lunch for the day. He doesn't see how he can be hurt. He doesn't see how he can be, crushed. He sees it as an opportunity for him to be filled for the day. And so many of us right now don't realize that each and every day we've got opportunities right before us that are huge, just like that elephant. But instead of seeing it as an opportunity for us to be fed, for our dreams to grow, guess what? We take on the mental set of the elephant and say, oh my Lord, I'm not going to be able to overcome that what's in front of me. But be the lion just as God is the lion of Judah, and step into the moment that God has presented before you and say, well, guess what, Satan? You're lunch for the day. You're in your moment, folks. You're in your moment. Welcome back to In the Moment with Cortia Kuzan on this halfway there Wednesday. And I pray that this message on today has been impactful, has been inspiring you, has actually allowed you to see exactly how much of a positive agent of change that you actually can be and possibly that you already are. And we've been talking about the suicide of a dream. And look, as I was saying before the break, the things that actually will, overwhelm us and, actually hinder us and the things that we can actually let go. I know that a lot of times, like I said before, we put a lot of things on our plate. And, it can be just like when you're going to the stove and someone's actually making a plate for you and you've got this overwhelming amount. And you know how you take that fork and you try to make sure everything's moved to the center so something doesn't fall off? Well, look. That's what we're doing with a lot of things in our life today, to where we're trying to balance things and keep it on this plate that's in front of us. But if you actually didn't pile as much on your dinner plate or as a plate that's before you as far as like life is concerned, then what happens? You're able to go through it not only quicker, you don't want it too fast, but at your own pace, to where you're not trying to just bring it down. But then just like when you have too much food on your plate, you get to a point to where you're full and you can't have any more, but then you still have things on your plate. And that's how so many of us today really are. We go through things and we put it on this plate of life, okay? And we start to go down, we start to eat things from the top, but the things that are actually foundational, okay, the things that are at the bottom of the plate, I'm talking to somebody right now, the things that are actually foundational on the plate, they're still there. You never had the opportunity to just really tap into it. And just like when you've got that really good brown gravy, on top of that rice that you want to eat, the brown gravy, the core of it is going to go to the bottom of the rice. But until you actually mix it up to actually where you sequence it to where you can take a bite here and a bite there, to where I was speaking to you before, you've got to take those bites to actually clear those things off. Take the bites that are actually going to be nutritious to you. Take the bites that are actually going to, fill you up. But don't take the bites that are going to overwhelm you to where you feel miserable later, all right? And you might say, well, wow, that's kind of a coy, a little funny example, but that's how we take things in life. We take things that just totally just overwhelm us. I mean, we don't want to allow the dream that comes on the inside of us to actually swell us up to where we're going to explode from too much pressure, like almost a spiritual bloatedness, okay? But we want that dream to actually cause us to have a release. We want the dream to actually allow us to explode only in this way, to explode outwardly just to show us what's really on the inside of us. And what I like about how when a dream, when God gives me the dreams, and God's always increasing on the inside of me, and he's allowing me to know that, your dream could actually progress even further. And this is a lot with a lot of people that are doing things that are really taking steps towards what God has placed in their lives. If we actually took time to actually, let's just say rest, all right, we can actually have, more motivation and more liberty to actually do what God has called us to do. Because sometimes an overwhelming feeling or a lack of motivation comes from us not being fully rested in our natural states. And, those simple adjustments that we talked about according to schedule, taking time off. And, as my wife and I, one day, a couple of days, we were like just in the office, and you just get to a point to where you just have to say, hey, no more. That's it. I'm done. I'm done for the day. And you just sit there and, just fellowship with the Lord, a fellowship, in whatever type way possible, just to unwind. It's all a part of the dream. And then, you start thinking about your dream. And, it's going to sound funny to you, but, I actually start, in a sense, talking to the dream, talking to the greatness that God has placed on the inside of me. And in doing that, it's really you're talking to the Lord. But when you do that, it's like each and every time you talk and discuss things and ask different questions, it's like the dream just grows. It just speaks to you. It gives you a little bit more of a tidbit. The vision grows, and you get expounded and shows you different things. How many of you right now that are doing what you're supposed to be doing, that you've probably passed a building or spoke to a person or heard a song, whatever it may be, and then all of a sudden, no matter how many times you've, passed this particular building or spoken to a particular person, that all of a sudden they just become really relevant to you. And what I mean by this, it's like for whatever reason, you've got this, big arrow or something over your head, or this big little whatever it is, something, a neon sign that's just saying, hey, you need to talk to this person. Hey, you need to go here. Hey, you need to do this. Hey, you need to do that. Whatever it may be, to where it's almost like if you really just open yourself up and allow God to just really start flowing through you, that day all of a sudden God's saying, hey, this is the person. This is the person that's going to help you in your moment. This is the business that you need to go to. And, opening yourself up each and every day for new opportunities, and with that expectancy level, as far as thinking that greatness is going to just basically track you down and overtake you, those are those Deuteronomy blessings, some of you know about. But it's just having that level of expectancy that, God's right there in the midst. And like you said, he's never going to leave you or forsake you. Because what? It goes into the second point that I'm finally able to get to is the lack of support. A lot of us really feel, and it touched on it, a lot of us really feel that once God gives us a dream, once the vision starts to take root or starts to progress, we actually think that each and every person out there that we may be in contact with, whether, personally, whether professionally, we really think that people are instantaneously going to jump onto the bandwagon of what God has given us. And the way I can say this is that I actually had a woman, tried to do my best to actually show her ways to progress her ministry, progress her business, and she was sharing all manner of things, and God was just revelating to me, okay, how she could do this, how she can do that, but it was like she didn't hear any of that. The only thing that she wanted to know was, how was I going to help her? And the way, and you might say, well, I thought you were actually helping her by showing her. Well, the real thing she was asking, how am I going to do her dream and bring about her vision in my own strength? See, she got the dream. God was giving her the vision, but she wanted someone else to do the work to bring it to pass. Are some of you in that state right now? Are some of you actually seeking people to actually touch and agree with your dream because you want them to literally do the work for you? I'm here to tell you, like I said, a closed mouth won't get fed, and believe me when I tell you, definitely according to God's word, if a man doesn't work, he shall not eat. All right? And you can get the revelation on that later. But look, no one in this life is just simply going to give you something. You've got to do what's necessary. And yes, just like with me and my family, has God opened doors for us on radio and the other platforms that he has us a part of? Absolutely. But do you think it's just about us just sitting here and just reaping the benefits? No. We've got to do work on our parts to bring in the harvest that God has in store for us. And what, like I said before, it's just not a harvest that's meant for me and mine, okay? Just like I continually say, and I'm going to keep on saying, just like this radio program is just not for me and mine. That's why I'm going to tell you to call in with your questions and comments every single day. And then if you don't utilize it, hey, that's you. The platform is definitely open. But what? God allowed me to know that this is a platform, as I told a young lady on yesterday, this is just not for me in mind. This is a platform to help catapult people out there that are what? They're out there doing it. Okay, it's something that actually help people to, get recognition, actually help people get motivated, actually to help people to see that what? You're not alone where you are, because God is giving you an example of someone that he's already using that's in their moment, that's being that positive agent of change and just letting you know, hey, you're more than able. You can do this. All right. It's not something that you see people doing on the television. You've got someone right here, flesh and blood, in this day and age, not just in the Bible, but someone that you can actually talk to, someone that you can actually relate to, and someone that actually knows exactly where you are. And it's been through many of the different levels that you're at. And look, I tell you, it's awesome at how these things actually come about. And, I thought I was actually going to actually hold this until the end. All right. But, what is it right now that's causing the suicide of your dream? And one of the main things I want you to get is from this quote that I'm listening. Don't downgrade your dream just to fit your reality, all right? Upgrade your actual conviction to match your destiny. That's powerful. I'm going to say that again. Don't downgrade your dream just to fit your reality. Upgrade your conviction to match your destiny. Are you hungry? Are you want it? Are you ready to devour it? Are you ready to be in your moment? Are you ready to actually step into the fullness of what God calls for you? Let's stop talking about it. Let's be a doer. Let's go ahead out there and say, I got to get it. I've got to be in my moment 24/7, no matter where I am, whether in my personal life or in my professional life. What's going to cause you to abort the suicide of your dream? What's going to cause you to continually go and flow in your moment?